My name is Charles Ardinger, and I'll be working with you as your instructor in the English 1001 class you're about to start. With that in mind, I wanted to make this brief video introduction to show you a little about myself and to show you some aspects of the class that you'll want to be familiar with as we navigate through the work together. To begin with, a little about myself. My name, again, is Charles Ardinger. Hello. I've been working here at Coastline since 2013, starting in the Student Success Department and eventually becoming an instructor here in the English department. I consider myself, among my other aspects, an expert in English grammar. I really like thinking about English grammar. I like talking about it, and I like answering questions about it. So if you have any questions of that kind, please feel free to email me, because that's a conversation I'd really enjoy having. And with that out of the way, I've told you some about myself. You'll learn more about me as we progress through the class, as I will learn about you through your writing. But before we start that process, I'd like to show you some aspects of the class that you'll want to become more familiar with as we keep going. So this is the front page, or the home page, for our class. You can see it's our class because it has the fancy English 1001 logo. And I want to show you on this page, first of all, that down the right side here and down the middle here, you will see a list of dates and assignments. This is a schedule for our class. These dates are the dates that the assignments are due. So, anytime you're wondering what you should be doing in class, simply look at the front page. Look at this schedule in the middle of the page and check today's date. So, for instance, today as I speak, it's January 30th. So I know that the next thing I should be looking at is this introduction discussion that is due on Saturday the 7th. And then there's some more stuff due on the 8th, and so on. Looking at the schedule will help you manage your time more efficiently. And in an online class, time management is one of the most important skills we have. We don't really meet at a regular time or in a regular place, so we're kind of on our own for making sure that assignments get done on schedule. And this list of due dates and assignment names should help us in that regard. I also want to point out that in this left-hand menu, the second item is Announcements. Clicking that will lead you to this page of, that's right, Announcements. Now, I will make an announcement of this kind once or twice every week. The way to find the announcements is to go through this link, Announcements, and then to find the most recent date and click on the title of the newest announcement. And that will get you this, the announcement. You can pause this video and read this at your leisure, but I will tell you what it says. Basically, again, I will make an announcement of this kind once or twice a week, and these announcements will concern things I see in class or issues of grammar that I think I should bring up, or something I see outside of class that I think applies to our work. Basically, ways to communicate between me and you. Now, I won't necessarily quiz on the contents of these announcements, but I strongly suggest reading them because I think their advice can be helpful, and I think paying attention to the announcements will add to your experience of the class. Now, as I say, that's one way that we can communicate between each other, through announcements. Another way is through your grades. Now, this is a class, so I will be grading the assignments that you submit, but I will also be giving you feedback in other ways. And to look at those ways, let's take a look at what happens when you click this link that says Grades. It leads you to a page that looks like this. You'll notice that once again we have a list of assignments with their due dates, and in this case, a grade. This assignment has in fact been graded. I made up a fake student and graded that fake student's assignment. Now, to look more carefully at what makes up this 85% grade, let's go ahead and click on the assignment. And that leads us to a page that looks like this. Here's what I want you to notice on this page. There is a comment. There is a link that says Show Rubric. There is a link that says View Feedback. Now, you will see this kind of comment on everything you submit to me in this class. When you submit an assignment, I will read it, and I will write a comment about my response to it. What my reading of it revealed to me, what I saw in what I read. I'll also give you advice on future assignments, and I'll talk a little bit about how what you've written fits my idea of what an argument should really look like. Also, there will be a rubric attached to every assignment. Now, a rubric is a chart listing criteria and point values for those criteria. So if we look at the rubric for this assignment, we'll see that you can get 7 points for clarity, you can get 7 points for explanation, and you can get 3 points, for grammar. Let me say that again because it wasn't clear. You can get 7 points for clarity, you can get 10 points for explanation, you can get 3 points for grammar. Notice that this student has gotten all 7 points for clarity, all 3 points for grammar, but only 7 of the points for example. Clearly the writer needs to look at how he chooses examples and think about how he can make that score higher in future assignments. In this way, looking at the rubric helps us understand what aspects of an assignment that we did really well on, and what aspects we can concentrate more on as we keep progressing in class. Now we can get rid of this rubric by pressing this X here. And that means we can look at this View Feedback link. Pressing this link will create a smaller copy of the assignment you submitted. Yours will probably be larger than this one because I'm using a camera software that necessitates a small screen area. But you'll see something that looks like this. This is the assignment that the students submitted. Notice that the assignment bears with it 2 kinds of annotation. Annotation is where I write on your assignment the way I would write on a piece of paper with a pen if you'd handed me a typed assignment. And you'll notice they come in 2 ways. This is the kind of annotation that I will generally write on the assignment. I'll write it between the typed lines of your work. This annotation will generally suggest different kinds of grammar, different ways to compose the sentence that I'm looking at, or different word choices to make your work more easily fit the academic model that we're going for in this class. I will also give highlighted annotations. For instance, this highlight leads to this text box, and in the text box I will make larger annotations that I can't really fit between lines of text. More detailed suggestions about a sentence, or comments about how a piece of your work made sense to me. So looking at these annotations can help you as you keep looking at future assignments. You can remember what I said about past assignments and adjust your work accordingly. So the comment, the rubric, and the view feedback links will help you a great deal as you submit assignments and get responses from me. And that's another way in which we can communicate, but it seems a little bit one-sided. And so I have instituted a practice in my classes of student visiting time. We also call them office hours, but I don't really have an office. I work from my apartment, and it would be weird to call them apartment hours. So I call them student visiting time. In this class, our student meeting times will be on Mondays, between 6:30 and 8 p.m., or if you like military time, between 8:30 and 2000 Pacific time. I live on the west coast of the United States, so I think in Pacific time. So if you live in a different area, you may have to adjust your thinking accordingly. These meetings will take place in my Zoom office, which you can reach through this link. Clicking the link will take you to a Zoom meeting where I will be, and then we can have a conversation about anything you like. This is optional, non-mandatory time that we can spend chatting, getting to know each other, discussing what goes on in class or how what goes on in class is affecting your life or your way of thinking. Anything you like, really. This is a potential extra credit opportunity. Check your syllabus for more about that. And perhaps I'll see you in my student meeting times between 6:30 and 8 p.m. on Mondays. I look forward to that. I look forward to a chance to converse with you informally. The last thing I want to show you is these optional grammar refresher modules. These are little automated modules that I have created containing lectures and self-taking tests that can help you brush up on any grammar issues that you might see in your work, in this class or in other classes. I hope they'll be helpful to you, and I can make new modules pretty easily. So if you've got an issue of grammar that you think would be helped by more study, let me know about it, and I might make a module to help you and entire classes with that particular issue. And those are the things that I want to show you in our class's home page. The schedule, the announcements, the grades, the student meeting time, and the grammar refresher modules. And with that, I think we can bring this brief introduction to a close. I'd like to thank you for enrolling in the class, because without the participation of a student, there would be no need for a teacher, and thus I would have no job. So thank you for helping keeping me employed. Thank you also for the questions that you'll be asking as we continue. I really look forward to hearing from you as much as possible, because I don't always know when I'm not making sense, and so I rely on students asking questions to help me speak as efficiently and meaningfully as I possibly can. And finally, I'd like to thank you for your time and attention.